If you were to search the four Gospels to determine what group does Jesus criticize the most and the most often, the answer would be obvious and simple. The scribes, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the high priest, the chief priests. In other words, those who were in the leadership position of that Jewish faith community. Why? Well, we heard in today's gospel. They did not practice what they preached. He said, listen to them, follow their teaching, because they are scholars of the law. They know the law backwards and forwards, but don't follow their example. In other places, Jesus calls this same group hypocrites, phonies. The word hypocrite comes from a Greek word, hypokrites, meaning actor. So they were actors. They weren't real. They were phony. They were acting like they were holy men, but they were not. What a strong condemnation. And yet we have to listen to those words today, because Jesus could say the same today about many persons, not just clergy. Certainly clergy have had some horrible abuses that we know about in the last few years, but also politicians, teachers, ministers, health professionals. So many professions that we hold up, and rightly so, because they are helping professions. They're ministering to others. But when one in that profession does wrong, causes scandal, commits a crime, then they deserve a harsher punishment. Jesus said elsewhere, those who have, more is expected. Those who have more is expected. So again, those of us who are in leadership positions had better practice what we preach. If not, we could be called a hypocrite, an actor, a phony. How important that is to be true to ourselves. Well, certainly, as a priest, I have to give good example. As a priest, if I tell you you should pray more often than 1 hour a week, 9:30 Mass on Sunday, you should pray every day, I'd better pray every day as well. If as a priest I tell you to stop gossiping about people and talking about people and ruining their good name, then I had better do the same. Cut out gossip from my conversations and malicious speech. If I as a priest ask you to be generous with your time, your talent, or treasure, then I had better do the same. You see, priests have a good life. Any priest who reads this gospel should feel a little bit nervous. I wear special robes. I have a seat of honor. Therefore, you should expect more of me as the leader of the spiritual community. We all need to practice what we preach. Practice means we'll never get it perfect. We've heard the saying, practice makes perfect. Well, practice should make us better year by year, but I don't know if we'll ever reach perfection. But I should be a better priest this year than I was a year ago, and so on. How important that is. But I look at other professions as well. Say they too need to be good examples of what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ. Another group that Jesus criticized quite often was those who give bad example, especially to children. So again, let's look at some professions that some of you might have. I've looked at my priesthood and say, I better practice what I preach or I'm a phony. If you're in the medical profession, your patients look up to you. If you're a teacher, your students look up to you. If you're a lawyer, your clients look up to you. And I think almost everyone here has people that should look up to you, except maybe little children. If you're parents or grandparents, your children and grandchildren look up to you, and they will follow your example, good or bad. I'm reminded of a video I used to show when I was teaching catechists, how to be good catechists, and again, to give a good example while they're teaching the faith. It was a story of a man and his little son. They were going to a movie, and the boy had just turned 13. And they were at the movie theater, and there was a sign there that said, children 12 and under, $3, or whatever the cost was. So the father said to his son, let me do all the talking. So the woman there at the movie cashier said, and how old is your little boy? And he said, 12 years old. So she gave him the lower price. As they were walking away, the boy looked up at his father and said, wow, Dad, you're such a good liar. Bad example. Older children, your younger siblings look up to you. So how important that is to give good example. Now again, I'm talking perhaps to the choir here, as I say, because you're here on this Sunday. Most of you I see are here every Sunday, 9:30 Mass. But what's the rest of the week going to be like? Is Sunday the only day that you act holy, that you look holy? Your neighbors probably see you every Sunday leaving the house at 9 o'clock or 10 after 9 or whatever it is, get here to church on time. Or they go to that church, Holy Spirit, there, on Mesa Park and Russell. What about the rest of the week? How holy will you be? Do you really practice what you preached on Sunday? I preach going to Mass, I preach going to communion, I preach listening to the gospel, I preach my songs, I preach my responses. I'm a good participant at Sunday Mass. What happens when you leave here today, the rest of the week? How very important that is. Especially to give a good example to those who look up to us. And I try to say this to all those involved in this parish. Yes, Father Joder and I are your priests, and we had better give a good example. But also we have many involved in the liturgical ministries, reading, singing, playing instruments, distributing communion, ushering. We have people who teach our youth, young children, teenagers. We have people involved in outreach. We have many different religious organizations in the parish. They should be looked up to as well, and they need to give good example. See, these people, they're pretty important here at Holy Spirit. They do a lot of things. Good, we need volunteers. We couldn't exist without volunteers. But they had better be a Catholic 7 days a week. How very important that is. You've heard perhaps the cute little saying, 7 days without prayer makes 1 week. 7 days without Christian action makes 1 week. 7 days without being really Christian makes one a hypocrite. So how important that is. Consider that. Now, as a priest, we get a lot of nice things for us. I have a decent salary. We have a pension plan. We get health insurance. We get life insurance. We get free housing, a food allowance, a lot of perks. But once a priest starts thinking he is better than other people, or that he deserves all this, that priest is in trouble. Because the priest is not meant to be on a pedestal for people to look up to. The real type of perfect leadership for priests is servant leadership. I'm a leader, but I show best by serving others. And I know I haven't done that perfectly all the time. So if there's times that I've let you down, if there's times that I've hurt you, there's times I did not give good example, accept my apology, I'm sorry for that. Like all of you, I try to be better and better. All of us can do the same. So Jesus Christ challenges us. Don't be hypocrite. Don't be phony. Don't be actors in faith. Be true followers of me. I am your Lord. I'm your master. I'm your teacher. Let us all be good students. Let's see how good we can make this coming week to make it a good week, and that we are praising God in everything we do and serving others, that we practice what we preach. We are Christians 7 days a week. God bless you.